Hi guys, welcome back to the Soccer Kicks channel where I give you a full review of football releases as well as tips and tricks to get the most out of your product. Today we have the Umbro Velocita Matrix Pro to go over, so let's get right into it. We are now on Umbro's 8th generation of a speed silo, and they've come a long way since the first generation. For a brand that was once so innovative with football apparel and equipment technology, now seems to be playing a little bit of catch up, specifically in the boot department. What I give them a ton of credit for though is that they have really pushed to make more product from recycled material, and this latest Velocita generation is no exception. It is 85% made up of recycled content, which is pretty impressive, but that does come at a cost. Umbro's Velocita Matrix Pro released earlier this month and retail for a whopping $275. Now let's break these down. The upper continues to be Pro Weave, which is a woven upper they've used in the last few generations with slight updates. This time, however, they've managed to make it softer and have a little more stretch to them. As you take a closer look at the upper, you'll really get to see the actual fabric. The closest thing I can compare this to is probably the first generation of Puma Ultra 1.1 from 2020, although this one feels a little bit softer. The upper also remains as a one-piece construction, tying together the tongue and main body, which makes everything feel seamless. As you check out the opening of the boot, it does seem to leave a little too much space, especially compared to the last generation. In terms of the sole plate, Umbro has finally updated this after years of using the same mediocre plate. They're calling this the Propulsion Plus sole plate, which is built to generate energy return with every step. They've also added a support spine down the middle to really hold down the midfoot. With most speed boots, you usually get a pretty snappy sole plate, but this one didn't really offer that. However, they did create the most aggressive stud pattern I've ever seen from them. In terms of fit, they're decently comfortable out of the box, but with a few issues. For one, the material feels great, but there are some areas where they left too much room or material. My biggest issue though goes back to the opening of this boot. They should have done a lot more to tighten this up, especially because a one-piece upper construction is basically like a laceless boot. Therefore, the opening is pretty important to give you a snug fit top to bottom, which this kind of struggles with. This issue bleeds into the heel, which does a good job towards the bottom of your heel, but as you go up your foot, it becomes kind of loose. The lack of padding also makes this issue worse. The toe box also gave me the most room out of any speed boot I've ever tried on, which is not necessarily an issue, but uncommon for a speed silo. In terms of width, these run narrow, so I wouldn't recommend them for anyone with wide feet. You do, however, get a good amount of room in the toe box. Judging by the initial fit and feel, I would say it would probably take a good 4 to 5 sessions to break in. If you're looking at trying out a pair for yourself, I would recommend going true to size or half a size down. I normally wear a size 8 US, and the ones on my feet now are a size 8 US. However, I found they run a little long, so I could probably squeeze into a 7.5 US. Now let's review the biggest win and loss of these boots. The win here is that this upper material is good enough to fight amongst the best in the industry. It has areas where it can be tightened up a bit, but the material alone is pretty solid and feels great. And I can't stress how much it helps that they've updated this sole plate. Is it on par with the best of the best? No, but it's in the neighborhood and a solid step up from the last sole plate they used. The biggest loss about these is again the price point. When you look at a boot wall, what is going to make these stand out next to iconic silos like the Adidas 50 or the Nike Mercurial? And if you do have a few specs that make it stand out, is it enough to justify a markup above the average speed boot price of $250? I understand using recycled material is sometimes more costly, and in an effort to reduce waste in the world, it's a great branded initiative. However, when it creates a 10% higher price point in an already crowded and expensive boot category, I think a great incentive to get more people to try these is a below market average price point like Under Armour has done with the Shadow Elite or Sakito has done with the Scudetta. That's the Umbro Velocita Matrix Pro for you. I'll leave a few links in the description in case you're interested in buying these. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any questions or opinions about these, leave them down below and I'll answer them as they come. See you on the next one.